I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. Just days before the big World Cup qualifier for the U.S. men against Mexico, U.S. Soccer has already scored a major win this week. The news was announced today that U.S. Soccer and Nike have just extended their longtime marketing agreement. But the big news is it represents the largest commercial agreement in U.S. soccer history and one of the largest investments by any company in soccer in the world. Joining me today is Cindy Parlow. She is the president of the U.S. Soccer Federation. Cindy, it's great to have you on NYSE Floor Talk. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so Cindy, tell me, how were you able to do this and what does it mean for U.S. soccer?
I think the how is, it was actually pretty easy. Nike has been such a positive partner for U.S. soccer for a long time and has played a major role in the growth of soccer in the U.S. as well as the growth of U.S. soccer. It was pretty amazing. At our first meeting, I was blown away about how aligned we already were in terms of our values and our vision for the game. So I think from the beginning, from that first meeting, talking about our contract, we all knew that this was the direction we needed to go.
Now, Nike was a relatively new partner of U.S. soccer when you, as a player on the 1999 women's national team, defeated China to win the FIFA Women's World Cup in the Rose Bowl. But Nike has been with the men's and women's national teams ever since. In addition to the investment and commitment Nike certainly has, how important is the continuity to what U.S. soccer is trying to accomplish?
That's right. And as you can see over my head, that is a picture from the 99 World Cup final in the Rose Bowl. But it's huge, and what we also love about Nike is that they're not just about our women's and men's national team. Obviously, they are very important and play an important role for U.S. soccer, but they're also very invested in our youth national teams and our extended national teams, which include our para team, our beach soccer team, and futsal, and soon to be other teams. And I just really think Nike is going to help us have an impact across all the levels of the game, from the youth to the professional, to the adult game, as well as the international game.
A big part of your charge has been growing the game of soccer in the U.S. among women and girls. But I understand U.S. soccer wants to be every bit as influential in elevating the profile of women and girls soccer around the entire world. Why is this important to you, and how does this new agreement with Nike help make it happen?
Well, obviously, this is near and dear to my heart, but Nike is one of the best marketers in the world and is a great global brand. And I think together with Nike, we can help grow the game of soccer in all its forms, both here in the US and across the world. Personally, I think together with Nike, we can help change the world through the women's and girls side of the game. We all know what sports can do for a young girl, and soccer is the world's game, so it's accessible to everyone across the world. I know I'm the leader and the person I am today because of playing soccer and being a teammate and learning all the life lessons through that. Now, we know every girl is not going to go to play on their national team, but those skills they're going to take with them in whatever industry or sector that they decide to go into. And so I think we can really have a positive impact on the world, and Nike can help us do that.
Right now, Cindy, you became president of U.S. Soccer during a very interesting time. It was the same week in March 2020 that the world came to a halt with the COVID-19 pandemic. This news on the Nike agreement would indicate that U.S. soccer has emerged stronger than ever. But in the past year and a half, you've coped with some remarkable challenges, including equal pay for the women's national team. Can you update us on this?
Yeah, obviously, I am for equal pay and been working with our women's national team and our men's national team to see how we can get there. It's one of our top priorities. Obviously, I want to resolve the ongoing litigation with our women's national team. But recently, we offered the U.S. men and the women the exact same contract, just as we have done in past negotiations. Obviously, we would like to have one CBA for both the men and the women. Obviously, we're open to having minor changes as long as both the men's and women's team agree to those changes and that they're equal. But we all have to get into the same room to agree to this. So that hasn't happened yet. So we have been moving forward with the CBA negotiations with each team separately.
Now, finally, U.S. Soccer and Nike said today that this agreement is founded on a number of principles such as sustainability and inclusivity. but also that you both want soccer to be the sport of the next generation in the United States, impacting art, culture, society, and much more. That's ambitious, but you must believe it to be true. Tell me about that.
If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing, right? So, I mean, Nike is such an iconic brand and is always on the cutting edge and is consistently pushing culture forward and connecting with the next generation. So I think we have a lot of similarities with our fan base, which is very young, and we want to continue to connect with the young players. And one great way to do that is to meet them at the intersection of sport, art, culture, and music.
All right. So now tell us, what time is the men's match on Friday and how can we watch?
Yes, this is the match that we all are looking forward to. World Cup qualifying against Mexico. It doesn't get better than this on the men's side. The match kicks off at 9 p.m. Eastern, and you can watch it on ESPN2, Univision, and TUDN.
All right. Well, I'll definitely be tuning in. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk, Cindy.
Thanks for having me.